So, lads, this is not a great look for the Indiana Fever organization. If you've got Caitlin Clark, the star of the Indiana Fever, she's going and seeing whatever about not seeing the Indiana Fever's doctors. Like, it is what it is with that. It is what it is. Like, I think a lot of players and teams get second opinions. But if you haven't seen here, Stephanie White says there's no update on Caitlin Clark or potential timeline. She met with another doctor, but White says she hasn't spoken with the trainers.
A secret meeting in a stadium tunnel may have just signaled the end of the Caitlin Clark era in Indiana before it ever truly began. Photos have surfaced of Clark and her agent in a private discussion with the New York Liberty's head coach and star players, a move that screams exit strategy.
Pretty much kind of leaked out the bag to the team that she was kind of going to get a second opinion. To me, an athlete like Caitlin Clark on her level, she should have been getting these second opinions. She should have been hearing from all these other doctors, man. But Stephanie White spoke to the media yesterday. She really didn't give a whole lot, but she did say that Caitlin Clark was in New York meeting with other doctors. Now, with all of that being said, what does the timetable look like to me for Caitlin Clark coming back? I keep telling y'all, around the 17th to the 30th of August.
This comes amid shocking reports that Clark has completely cut off the Fever's medical staff, hiring her own doctors after a string of mysterious injuries that have derailed her season. The trust is broken, the relationship is shattered, and the best thing to ever happen to the Indiana Fever might already be planning her escape.
She has met with a different doctor. And she won't even give an update to the team. Not, oh yeah, she's met with a different doctor and we're waiting on an update. She's waiting, or not even, well, that's basically it. They're waiting on, she's gone to a different doctor and they've heard nothing.
When Caitlin Clark limped off the court on July 15th against the Connecticut Sun, her frustration was palpable. With just seconds left in the game, a simple pass ended with her clutching her right groin, a look of agony and exasperation on her face. This wasn't just another injury. It was the culmination of a disastrous season plagued by a string of physical setbacks that have seen her miss a significant number of games.
News: Caitlin Clark. Following a July 15th injury to her right groin, Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark underwent further medical evaluations earlier this week. The team can confirm that no additional injuries or damage were discovered through the evaluations. Clark will continue working with the Fever medical team on her recovery and rehabilitation, with the priority on her long-term health and well-being. There is no timetable available for Clark's return, and no additional details will be provided at this time. Any further updates will be shared as they become available.
For a player who had an almost perfect attendance record throughout her college and rookie seasons, this injury parade is more than just bad luck. It's a sign of something deeply wrong within the Fever organization. The injury forced her to miss the All-Star game and the three-point contest, a huge blow for the league and the fans in her new home city.
But the internet noticed something specific that Holly Rowe had to say on the broadcast. Holly Rowe said that before the last return after a quad injury, she had no practice time, which, if that's actually true, like if she wasn't practicing, if she wasn't going full speed, then why was she returning to the court? And that's actually something that I pointed out. I believe it was Scott Agnes reported that Caitlin had gone full speed in practice, but there was only one practice that she had gone full speed, and then she returned to play.
Let's look at the facts the Indiana Fever would rather you ignore. Clark's sophomore season has been a medical nightmare. Her body, which she once described as young and able to run around and sprint every day, is now betraying her. It started with left leg soreness, followed by a left quad strain in May that sidelined her for the first time in her career. Then came a left groin injury in June, and now a right groin injury in July. That's 4 separate soft tissue injuries in a matter of months for a player who is the most valuable asset in women's basketball. This recurring pattern strongly suggests a fundamental failure in her conditioning and rehabilitation program. The breaking point, according to sources, was when Clark was rushed back from her previous injury without adequate practice time to ramp up, only to see it flare up again.
Caitlin Clark's team has made it known we are going to be holding her out until she is fully recovered. We are not going to be rushing her back at all. After taking Indiana Fever's advice, eventually Caitlin Clark needs to take matters into her own hands, make decisions for herself, and I believe that's what we are seeing with the team that she now has surrounding her.
This is where the story takes a dramatic turn. Whispers from inside the league are calling this a Kawhi Leonard situation, a direct reference to the NBA star's infamous falling out with the San Antonio Spurs over medical treatment. Reports have surfaced that Clark has essentially fired the Fever's medical team, seeking second opinions from specialists in New York and refusing to share the results with the team's trainers. When your franchise player goes rogue on their own health, it's a clear vote of no confidence. Head coach Stephanie White admitted she hadn't spoken with the trainers about what Clark's outside doctors discovered. It's a sign that the trust between player and team has been completely shattered.
The people were speculating that Caitlin Clark injury could be much worse than expected. You know, these type of injuries and the way she's been getting these injuries is not normal. To have these strains back to back like this. And I said this before, Caitlin Clark's mobility is off, bro. I believe she might have came back too fast from the first. We all know the first one went down around the 25th of May. Then she came back and got re-injured around the 4th of July to the 5th, somewhere up in there of July. And then that brings us until now.
This goes beyond simple mismanagement. It touches on a dangerous combination of league-wide physicality and questionable team protocols. Experts have pointed out that recurring groin and quad injuries in elite athletes are a massive red flag. Even Michael Jordan's legendary trainer Tim Grover has publicly shared concerns about the specific demands these injuries place on a player's body and career longevity. The consensus is clear. The root cause of Clark's issues has never been properly addressed. When you combine the intense pressure to put eyeballs on the game, the brutal physicality she faces every night, with referees seemingly looking the other way, and a medical staff that appears to be in over its head, you have a perfect storm for disaster. The Fever aren't just failing to treat an injury, they're failing to protect their star from a system that is actively wearing her down.
The only good news about today is Caitlin Clark is no longer dealing with Stephanie White and these coaches and this Indiana Fever medical staff, trainers, doctors, none of that. She's seeing her own medical doctors, her own team. That's the only good news of today. She has abandoned the Indiana Fever medical staff, and I'm happy about it. I'm happy about it. She's pulling a Kawhi Leonard, what he did with the San Antonio Spurs, letting it be known, hey, look, I'll get back to y'all when I'm ready. I'm going with my own medical staff. Y'all can beat it, kick rocks, and I stand with you, Caitlin Clark.
But the problems don't stop with the medical staff. When the Fever replaced Christy Sides with Stephanie White, it was sold as an upgrade. White came with a championship pedigree, but her coaching philosophy seems to be at odds with Clark's generational talent. While Sides understood that you build your system around a player like Clark, White seems determined to force Clark to fit into her system. Her public comments about wanting Clark to play more off the ball and how the ball moves more when she isn't on the floor have been met with bewilderment. You don't ask a revolutionary offensive force to take a back seat. That's not coaching, it's malpractice. You don't bench Michael Jordan because he's being double-teamed, and you don't turn Caitlin Clark into a role player.
The problem of this team is Stephanie White. It's Stephanie White. It's not Caitlin Clark. A great player don't all suddenly sucks. That doesn't happen. It's strategic. And everybody's saying that they played better without Caitlin Clark. No. Actually, even this loss, Caitlin Clark gives them a better chance. They're under 500 without Caitlin Clark.
The organization's handling of the situation publicly has been a complete catastrophe. Their official statements have been masterpieces of corporate vagary, offering no real information and fueling rampant speculation. The announcement on July 24th that there would be no timetable for Clark's return and that no additional details will be provided was a PR nightmare. Instead of reassuring fans and showing a clear plan, it made the franchise look secretive and incompetent. This lack of transparency creates a vacuum that gets filled with rumors and criticism, putting even more pressure on Clark and painting the organization as one that is either hiding the truth or simply doesn't have a handle on the crisis unfolding right before its eyes.
But this is how it starts in sports. This is how it starts in the NFL. This is how it starts in the NBA. When you start seeing the wheels in motion, there's signs. There's signs before eventually a player gets traded. A player eventually marks their next destination. The Indiana Fever, you're on notice. You're on notice. You better recognize what you've got going on, the asset in front of you, and you do whatever you have to do to correct what is happening.
This isn't just about giving your best player the ball. It's about understanding that some players are the system. Indiana, of all places, should know this. They witnessed it firsthand with Peyton Manning, who famously took control of the Colts offense, telling Coach Tony Dungy, "You run the defense, I run the offense." That's the level of trust and autonomy a transcendent talent earns. Caitlin Clark is the Peyton Manning of this Fever team. Her basketball IQ and ability to read the floor are unparalleled. She should be calling the shots, dictating the pace, and running the offense. Every other player on that roster should be evaluated on how well they complement her game. Instead, Coach White is trying to force a square peg into a round hole, and the friction is causing the entire operation to splinter.
Out there, why Caitlin Clark was injured is a real thing. It's not just because she's a good player and people go hard against her. In my opinion, there's some other stuff going on there. A lot of pressure to put people in seats, to put eyeballs on the game. You come back a little early. Teams, as they should, play hard against her. Some teams go over the line and refs seem to look the other way. In my opinion, you had some of that going on with some other talent in the league as well last year. But this is different. Stephanie White needs some blame as well. The team seems a little rudderless.
Let's be clear about the stakes. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's an economic engine. Her presence has led to sold-out arenas, not just in Indiana, but across the country. The Clark effect has resulted in record-breaking television ratings, unprecedented merchandise sales, and a level of mainstream media attention the WNBA has never experienced. Mismanaging her health and happiness isn't just a basketball problem. It's a massive financial blunder. Every game she misses is a loss of ticket revenue, of viewership, of sponsorship value. The Fever aren't just fumbling a superstar, they're fumbling a golden goose that is single-handedly elevating the financial fortunes of the entire league. Their incompetence is costing them millions and jeopardizing the most significant growth opportunity in the history of their sport.
Remember Peyton Manning when he called his own plays? He said, "Tony Dungy, you run the defense, I run the offense." That's what exactly needs to happen in Indianapolis. Caitlin Clark is literally Peyton Manning. She should be calling the plays. She should run the offense. And Stephanie White called the defense.
The most damning evidence of Clark's growing discontent came after a loss to the New York Liberty. Photos emerged of Clark and her agent, Aaron Kane, in a seemingly private meeting with Liberty coach Sandy Brondello and star players Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu in the tunnel of the Barclays Center. This wasn't a friendly post-game chat. When an agent is present for a discussion with another team's coach and top players, it's a business meeting about the future. The optics were crystal clear. While the Fever organization appears to be fumbling its superstar, the Liberty, one of the premier organizations in the WNBA, were seemingly making their pitch. Fans immediately began speculating that Clark was planning her exit from Indiana.
There is a WNBA team that have been very, very, very much in, they made it clear that they want Caitlin Clark, or they're eventually going to want Caitlin Clark. Along those lines, they made it very, very clear. And that team is the New York Liberty. I think there is a 50-50 chance Caitlin Clark leaves Indiana after her rookie season. No, after rookie season, after rookie contract is up. Because
this is how it starts. The loss of trust in the medical staff, the philosophical clashes with coaching, the secret meetings with rival teams. These are the classic signs of a relationship that has reached the point of no return. A player of Clark's stature doesn't fire their team's doctors lightly. That is a final, definitive act of separation. Her visible frustration on the court and her calculated moves off it are not the actions of a player who is merely upset. They are the actions of a player who is actively planning her next move. The Indiana Fever seem to believe this is a temporary storm they can weather, but what they fail to realize is that the bridge has been burned. They've created an environment where their superstar feels she cannot trust them with her career or her health, and once that trust is gone, it's never coming back.
Quote, "This is the first time I haven't felt like a young body that can run around and sprint every day and just continue to do that," Clark said in an event during All-Star Weekend per Glamour. Being a professional athlete, you really have to take care of both your body and your mind. It's been a journey learning about that.
The uncomfortable truth for the Indiana Fever is that Caitlin Clark owes them nothing. She's already delivered sellout crowds, record-breaking television ratings, and a level of national relevance the franchise has never seen. In return, she has been handed a string of preventable injuries, a coach who doesn't seem to grasp her greatness, and a medical staff she can no longer trust. The Fever are a respectable 14-12, but their record is 6-7 without Clark in the lineup, a testament to how crucial she is to their success. Every game Clark misses is another step closer to her potential departure. Her body language tells a story of frustration and disappointment. She's taking her health into her own hands and exploring her options. The choice for the Indiana Fever is simple: build around Caitlin Clark the right way, or watch her walk away and build a dynasty somewhere else. The clock is ticking, and right now the Fever are doing everything in their power to push away the best thing that has ever happened to their franchise.